Good morning, Your Holiness.
Good morning, Sister Celestina.
Your apple, Your Holiness.
Thank you, Sister Yolanda. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Holiness.
Father Lawrence, what's wrong? You look upset.
It's unpleasant to bring bad news.
Oh, it's not so bad if the recipient already knows.
So you read it then?
Yes.
They say the church has collapsed into chaos because of you. And you're incapable of protecting the supreme truth of faith. And your council is seriously tainted with modernism. These accusations come from inside these walls.
These walls don't only protect those who try to do good. The stones they throw at me, I leave on the ground.
Who could have spread that contagious information of your seminary years?
Someone who was in the seminary with me.
Cardinal Carcano. Why would he resent you so bitterly? He's your friend.
Because, although he is a man of God, he can never forgive me.
Forgive you for what?
For receiving from God all this grace without ever searching for it.
Here you are. With this you will sleep well.
Thank you, Sister Yolanda.
Night, Holiness.
Good night.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin regarding new developments in the contention between the United States of America and the Soviet Union over Cuban territorial waters. Good evening. A cluster of Soviet warships, possibly carrying medium and intermediate-range ballistic missiles, have neared the naval blockade imposed by President Kennedy. No clarifying statements from the White House or the Kremlin have reached us as yet. The world is holding its breath over the dangerous evolving of a situation that could turn into a nuclear conflict. There seems to be no immediate solution ever since Soviet-built missile launching pads were sighted in Cuba. We will interrupt our program at the moment we receive further news.
My God.
Sister Yolanda, calm down.
What's going to happen, Your Holiness? My family's there. My sisters, nieces, and my nephews.
No, not another war.
The good Lord won't allow that to happen, Guido. He won't let the world come to an end. Because this time it really could. What's happening?
The situation in Cuba is deteriorating. The Americans are ready for an eventual counterattack. Both sides are essentially in battle formation. The American embassy sent us a copy of their ultimatum. They give the Russians 24 hours to withdraw their battleships from the quarantined area.
What about negotiations? Aren't peace talks on the way?
No, Monsignor. However, there is just one more thing to add. A description of our evacuation plan in case of war.
If there is a nuclear war, there won't be anywhere to go. A personal appeal. A personal appeal from the Pope to the world, not to the world powers. They're the ones that hold our fate in their hands.
Oh, it's a very noble suggestion, Your Holiness, but it could be interpreted as the Holy See agreeing with the head of the Soviet Union, our worst enemy.
Yeah, the Pope has no enemies, and the Church has no enemy.
A unilateral act by the Church could weaken the position of its allies.
I am allied only to the search for peace at this time. How much time is left?
19 hours.
What the Church holds dearest are peace and the brotherhood of all men. Those of you in whose hands the Lord has entrusted power, listen. Listen to the anguished cry rising up from all corners of the world, from old and young alike, from individuals and communities alike. Listen as it rises up towards heaven. Peace, peace, peace. Today, we invoke this solemn entreaty. We supplicate world leaders not to remain deaf to humanity's cry and to spare the world the horrors of a war whose terrifying consequences are unimaginable. We pray that they may continue to negotiate and to meet on all levels, because this is the way of wisdom and of caution that favors the blessings of heaven and earth. And only by doing so will they be able to stand with a clear conscience before the judgment of history.
Your Holiness, the Russian fleet has withdrawn.
God. What happened was a miracle.
The miracle, Your Holiness, was your appeal.
No, it wasn't just that. It was that divine will and the will of mankind coincided. That was the real miracle. Peace must be put in the hands and the hearts of all men, not just the Catholics, because the Pope must love all his children equally.
Your Holiness?